Hey guys, this is Xenia from DC Martini, and today we have with us a very special guest who had won our hearts in TV, on films, and now he's raging OTT as well. I'm talking about Naxalbari actor Rajiv Khandelwal. Hi Rajiv, welcome to the show, to our
Hi, Zini.
website.
Thank you so much for having me on your
It's
show.
a it's a pleasure talking to you. You have when you signed this, what did you have in your mind? Like you are playing a police officer who have some history, as we could see in the trailer. So could you tell us more about the character you are playing in Naxalbari?
When I signed it, it was August 2019. So I had
Oh,
signed this last in August. And then, of course, we were finalizing the dates and things like that. So the script that I had said yes to was a very different script than what we are going to watch. Naxal Bari, the present
okay.
script that you will watch is very different from what I had said yes to. And why I had said yes to is because of a lot of factors, not just because of my character, but because the original script was dealing with the Naxal issue in a very, very serious way, in a very, very serious manner. It was like a very, very deep understanding of the subject. And all the characters
Okay.
were very, very well etched and very, very well written characters. When I say well, I mean well etched characters. So that is something which had really, really uh, attracted me. And remember I had said yes to the script within 2 hours. I mean, I heard the narration and I said, I want to do this one. Now, from August till we started the shoot, which was next July, uh, a lot of changes came in because of Z5 wanted to make it a little different, as time passed and the new
Hmm.
director came in and wanted to give it a different feel to it, and they wanted to make it in a certain way for their audience. And then the pandemic hit. So a lot of, what do I say, edit had to happen because we were shooting right through the pandemic, the peak pandemic time, which was July, August, and
Oh,
September. So yeah,
yes.
so a lot of editing had to happen because we couldn't really shoot the way it was written because there were huge action sequences, there were massive chases and things like that. But because there were no permissions, we really couldn't do a lot of things which were written in the script, and hence what you are going to see is a different version. So why I signed it and is a different, I mean, there's a story behind it because I really loved reading all of this, and and of course eventually what happened was the fate of it. So now what you are going to watch in this one is the conflict of Naxalism. What exactly is Naxalism? What do Naxals expect? And are they justified in what they do? Are the cops justified in
Hmm.
what they do? Are the politicians doing the right thing? Are the businessmen and corporate houses understanding what is the problem? Is anyone misusing anyone? Is anyone misleading anyone? That forms the gist of the show. So, I mean, to address again to your basic question as to why I did it is because of the original script that I had read.
Okay. But whenever you talk of this term Naxal and Naxalites, it's always shown in a very negative manner, given it's dealing with what, like how justified they are or not. Then to what extent would politicians and industrialists are involved in, um, probably harming the environment in this case because there's this mining issue, or in other cases as well. So do you think this is something that can quote controversies, the
This will
show?
not, yeah, the show will not get really into any major controversy unless somebody decides to create a controversy, because it is a very, I think, a balanced approach to the subject. The show doesn't condemn anyone. It doesn't condemn the Naxals. It just shows a side of the present day Naxalism. So what happens is that there is a movement which started many decades ago, the Naxal movement. They had their own reasons, they had their own agendas, they had their own demands. And then, like every movement, goes haywire after a certain period of time because of some people who get involved with the movement and they use that movement for their own personal goals. Like we've seen, what is militancy? People, militancy, extremism, whatever it is, we talk about Naxalites. The agenda initially was very justified. I mean, they were fighting for the land, they were fighting for the rights. And then come in some elements who started using the whole movement to their advantage. The bloodbath that happens, the fear that they generate in masses, and the loot that happens. So yeah, so I don't think that there's anything very, very controversial in the series, but it does touch a few present day issues of Naxalism.
Right. Also, talking about your character, which was left in the first question. So tell us more about your character and how did you prepare for the role of the police officer?
So I had enough time to prepare for my character because the pandemic had hit and the lockdown had hit and the shoots were getting delayed.
Yes.
Yeah. So the shoots were getting delayed and I grew my mustache for the character. Thank you, lockdown. So my character is he's Raghav and he's an STF agent. He's an IPS officer, and he comes with a baggage. He comes with his own baggage, and he's a guy who's not a routine cop. He is a righteous kind of a cop, and is highly emotional, but doesn't. Express his emotions. Highly emotional. He would love his father. He loves his best friend, but he doesn't really show it. And when things hit him hard is when you see the other side of his, which is the angsty side of his, what happens, and then how he deals with the whole issue of Naxalism and how he realizes that, that sometimes life doesn't give you too many choices. So that's how the character graph is pretty much. It's a very straightforward story, by the way. It's a story where it's just a fight between the Naxals and the cops and the establishment. So if you look at the series, it's a very straightforward approach. There is nothing much in terms of like suspense or anything. It's a very straightforward fight which reaches the climax.
It's just presenting this.
Yeah, actually.
Okay. So also, given you said that there had been many changes because of what happened in between, and this was the fate of the series, are you happy about how things have come out after everything?
So I'll be very honest.
Or do you think there could be changes? Some things could have been done better, or some things could have been muted.
No, so see, everyone had to sacrifice something or the other during the pandemic, during the lockdown. So we also had to sacrifice because if it was a normal day, if you were shooting in normal times, it would have definitely been very, very different because as I said, that the script was very, very elaborate. It was a very, very detailed script, and because of the restrictions everywhere, the number of people on the set were restricted. You could not have more than 55 people. So if your sequence had the entire village, how do you shoot it? Because you were not allowed. There were cops all the time. There were people keeping a check on your shooting. So we could never have more than 55 to say 70 people on the set. So there were challenges. If you ask me, are you really happy? I would say no, because I've read the original draft. So I can't be happy because if I compare it to the original draft, obviously this is a toned down version of the original draft. But having said that, let me tell you this as well, that this is probably one of the first series that will come out, which was shot during lockdown. Yet it is so big, yet it will look as if it was shot during normal times. So you have to give the credit to the producers and to the production house, to the channel, that they managed to pull off something as big as this during COVID times. When you watch the trailer, when you watch the trailer or the teaser, you'll see the bigness of it. There was a lot of action that was still happening. But yes, obviously, if you compare it to the original script, then of course some sacrifices had to be made.
Okay. So, also this series has an ensemble cast. I mean, there are so many people here. So, what did you share some of your very memorable experiences and some things that you had taken away from your co-stars during the shoot?
Let me tell you this, that these were not normal times. So imagine co-stars,
Of
generally we
course.
would bond with each other, we would party with each other, we were staying in a resort in normal times. These were the times where, for a
Right.
change, everyone after pack up would go in a separate car, because again, they would not want to travel with each other, and their staff. So we were moving in our dedicated vehicles. You would come back and the food would reach your room. So you're not going and meeting each other after the pack up. So there was no interaction, as good as none. On the set also, because of social distancing, we would sit away from each other. So the general camaraderie and the bonhomie that you see on a set, even though this is quite an ensemble cast, we would not even work out with each other, because I am getting time, तो मैं वहाँ workout कर रहा हूँ, वो अपने room में कर रहा है, सबको डर था, because each one of us had our families as well. So everyone was trying to be as careful as one could be. So nahi milna, interaction nahi karna, let's not sit together, let's not have a drink together. So none of these things were happening, because this was again shot during COVID times. We would meet on the set. Hi, hello, kya sequence kar rahe hain aaj? And then we would, whatever chatting, whatever bonding that happened on the set. So me and Satyadeep Mishra, the day one, we go on the set and we have an action sequence to be shot, and we were told about social distancing and we were told about the protocols of COVID, and we had a hand-to-hand combat fight, and we were wondering as to how do we maintain the protocols. We have a hand-to-hand combat, and we both were a little paranoid in the beginning, but that was the first fight sequence, I think, took all the paranoia out of the window for us, and it set the mood for the.
So, I mean, this must have been like a totally different experience, because this is something I'm hearing for the first time. You know, not talking to each other even, or meetings for such little time, when in fact you're spending the entire day together shooting and being on the sets. So yeah,
So these
it
were,
could have been,
yes,
I
these
think.
were not normal times. You're right. These were not normal times. Whatever was happening was probably happening for the first time for all of us. We were not just spending the
Right.
day. We were also living in the same resort. Can you imagine? So when you're living in the same resort, you come back, and we would pack up at 6:37 in the evening. On a normal schedule, we would generally come back and say, अच्छा 8 बजे मिलते हैं वहाँ पे. सुबह चलना दौड़ने चलते हैं साथ में, सुबह वर्कआउट करते हैं. या चल मेरे कमरे में आजा, let's have a drink together. That's a normal thing that happens in outdoor shoots, but these were COVID times. And why you've not heard much about it? Because not too many people went outdoors and shot during COVID time. That is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
This was when we were shooting, we were the only ones. Rest, anyone who was shooting from their homes, shots, shooting themselves, on the mobile phones or on other cameras. I know so many people who were just shooting, but they were shooting from homes. Even here in Bombay, portions were being shot in the studios. Rest, maximum people were shooting from their homes. We were the only daring, I think, a lot of actors and technicians who were out there in the open, living in the hotbed of Goa. COVID, the epicenter of COVID in Goa was this area where we were living and shooting. So we were like these warriors, probably. Yeah. So we were there at Vasco. We were living in Vasco, and Vasco was the epicenter of COVID in Goa. And we were there. So yeah, whatever happened, everything that happened on the set was probably happened for the first time.
Yes, also it sounds crazy. But tell me this, what was your reaction? What was the reaction from your family members, knowing that you're doing such a daring thing, stepping into Goa, Vasco, and doing this outdoor shoot?
So my wife was very, very angry with me, because she was living in Goa with me, and she didn't see any logic in me getting into it. She knew that if I had said no, the series wouldn't have happened, because I am saying no. So Rajiv available nahi hai. So that when the producers and the channel asked me that would I be okay shooting for it in Goa, I said yes, and that is where the anger started coming in Manjari. And she said that, why did you have to say yes? Nobody is shooting, nobody. And I said, listen, the
Right.
channel and the producers are willing to come all the way to Goa. And I'm also itching as an actor to just go and act. I'm itching to be in front of the camera and be a part of the unit, because we all started missing a work. So I said, I will do it and do not worry. So we decided that I will stay in the resort. I will not come back to our house. Which after a few days, I think she also kind of gave in and she said, it's okay. छुट्टियां होंगी तो तू आ जाना, 3 दिन का break होगा तो just come home. And then her paranoia also went away with mine. So it was not easy. Of course, they were all very, very paranoid. First day when I came home, I remember she asked me to go straight to the washroom, go dump your clothes for washing, and take hot water shower, as good as sanitize yourself and then come down. So there was paranoia, and but you know what? Not a single case happened on our set. Not a single case happened. So that was kind of very,
Thankfully.
we felt very good about that.
Right. I'm pretty sure the safety precautions were taken and it was to the highest measure. So yeah, of course. And thankfully, not a single positive case happened. It's a good thing. Now, Rajiv, talking about your career, you started off with TV, then did some fantastic films, also explored OTT, where you did 2-3 shows before this. How do you, what sets each of these mediums apart? What do you find very new in OTT?
Nothing. I find nothing. As to be very honest, you said that I started my career with television. I will tell you, I started my career with acting, and I'm still acting. I did not look at the medium I started. So I am an actor. Once an actor, for as long as he decides he would be an actor. So I am an actor, and I'm not an actor of a medium. I am somebody who you can't contain my talent in terms of any medium. I tell this to myself, I am what do I say? That you can't hold me. No medium can just hold me. That okay, fine. Television will keep me, or I stay with television, or I just stay with film, or I just stay with the web series. I will permeate through all the mediums because I'm an actor of caliber. तो ले जाओ मुझे किसी भी मीडियम पे, मैं कर लूंगा काम. मैं डरता नहीं हूँ, मुझे कोई मीडियम बांध नहीं सकता है. So I have never felt any difference in terms of performance. I never performed for TV. I never performed for films. I never performed. I am not the type, I'm saying. Perhaps some film actors will not be able to do television because they only know how to perform for films, which is loud, which is big, whatever. So I think because I started my career with series and not with loud projects, so I think I can change I can adapt to different scenarios. So when you act, or at least when I act, I don't look at the medium. I act the same way I act on television or film. This is what I did in my career, I'm saying. Web series, the difference in web series is definitely, we all know about it, but the variety is what makes the web series different. It is convenient for everyone. Yeah, it is convenient for the actors. It is convenient for the viewers. It is convenient for the technicians because you are not bound by time. You are doing a project. You're doing a project. It's not daily soaps that there is a telecast issue. This is not a film where you are constantly worried about the box office collection, because the collection of web series is a forever ongoing process. Somebody will watch it after a year, somebody will watch up to a year. So it's a forever, ongoing process. So I think it's a great space to be in for everyone involved, be it viewers or us on the other side.
Right. Also, talking about the characters you have played, they are so versatile. Have you never, how did you stop yourself from being typecasted, especially after you played, a romantic hero in Kahi To Hoga, which was loved by one and all, and then doing something like Amir when you did, when you joined Bollywood, when you debuted into Bollywood? How did you make those choices? What process did you go through?
So when I did my first series, first project, Kahin To Hoga, as you said, yes, there was a lot of adulation. There was a lot of love pouring in from all parts of the world. Forget just India, but all parts of the world. And that was a time when, of course, when I was leaving, when I was quitting the show, I just asked myself, and I remember this very correctly, that now the world says you will be typecast as this lover boy. I was enjoying all the adulation that I was getting as a lover boy. Everyone wants to be a lover boy, to be honest. Every guy would want to be a lover boy. Attention from women is something that you keep craving for all your life, and you get it. So, yes, I enjoyed that whole phase. And then I wanted to, because people also started thinking that I'm a good actor, but I wasn't a good actor. And I knew it in my heart. I knew that I have to do a lot of other things before I call myself or I believe myself to be a good actor. And I said, do you want to now be typecast or just be a one show wonder? Or how do you see yourself, Rajiv? And how I saw myself is how I progressed in my career. I never saw myself as one show wonder. And I knew it that I could have made a lot more money, around that time by continuing on that show. But that isn't me. So I had a vision for myself that this is how I want to be. And that is how I am today. Uh, a lot of people, again, start thinking and believing that he will do this and that because that's their way of looking at success or things like that. I had my own path very, very clear in front of me that I will do everything on my own. I will not depend on any producer. I will not depend on any PR agency. I will not want support from anyone to further my career. Whatever I will get, I will earn it on my own, and I would be very happy then. So I am a product of my uh, decisions and my vision. So yeah, I think I pretty much spoke to myself.
Wow, that's a very bold and big step to take. Also, given now there are terms like nepotism, Bollywood mafia, and things that are coming up, it's also being said it's difficult if you are transitioning from TV to Bollywood. Did you face any discrimination when you did so?
I told you that I never saw the medium. I always saw the projects. And if you look at my career, I did Amir after Left, Right, Left. And immediately after Amir, I did Sach Ka Samna, which was in television. Then I did Shaitan.
Right.
Then at a point, I did Reporters. Then I was doing some other films. So I'm just saying, I never saw. Then I did some web series also in between. I finished shooting for a film last year, which you will see soon because of pandemic again. A lot of things went in for a toss. So I never saw the medium. When I was doing Amir, I wasn't doing a film in my head. I was doing another project, which is probably a 120-minute long film. Earlier, I was doing probably 200 episode long series, but I'm still acting. So medium is for the world, and that's where the problem happens because people become captives of the medium. And I am not. I cannot be a captive of any medium. You cannot. You cannot incarcerate me in any medium, if that is the right word to use. I don't want to be imprisoned in any one medium. So I never saw it like that. And I'm being very honest and very forthright. A lot of people thought, आमिर की है तो अब तो ये फिल्में करेगा, ये तो भैया सारी हिट फिल्में करेगा, ये हमारा लड़का आया जो टेलीविजन से निकल के आया, first guy from television who will do this. Nobody knew that what I wanted. If I wanted, I could have continued. So after Amir, my next film came in 2011 because I was busy doing Sach Ka Samna on television. So if I really had planned my career for films for that long, or if I thought that films were superior, I would have done films after films. But I did. My next film came in 2011. So, and I did less number of, whatever I'm doing, I don't do too many projects any which way. So I'm saying that it is just in the minds of people, and the terms that you're using, nepotism, and you're talking about Bollywood mafia, I think these are the terms coined by losers. And I'm being very honest because those who have it in them will always shine. They will shine. They don't need anyone's support. They don't need anyone's sympathy. They don't need anyone's help. They will rise and shine if they have it in them, and if they have the burning desire to be what they see, in their head. So nobody needs any support. These are the terms about coined or brought in by people who probably just want everything to be served on a platter. because nepotism exists. We all know it. It exists everywhere. First, shun nepotism in your house and then talk about nepotism. First and foremost, you want your father or mother to support you, and not support your staff's children, not support your house help's children. They will support you because you expect your father and mother and sister and brother to come on support you. What is that? That is nepotism, isn't it? Because even though
Right.
your head son or daughter could be way more promising than you are, your father will not support her. He will still put money on a duffer of his son or a daughter, probably, because those are their kids. They would put money on them and they would keep putting in money. Come out of it, shun that nepotism. If you are doing something for your sister, stop doing it for your sister first and then talk about nepotism.
Wow. That's very well said, Rajiv, I must tell you. Also, since we are running out of time, this would be like the last question. You talked about another film that you shot for recently. So can you tell us about your upcoming projects?
Okay, not recently. This film was shot last year. So the recent thing that I just shot during pandemic again is something that I'm really, really, really looking forward to because it's a dark comedy. I'm attempting comedy for the first time and really dark,
Wow.
and yeah. So I'm super excited about it. I can't really reveal anything about it because they have not yet decided the platform, because the producers and the makers decided that we will make it the way we want to make it first and then decide on the platform. So just finished shooting for it on October 24th, and I'm super, super excited about it.
Wow. Congratulations once again, Rajiv, for Naxalbari, and thank you so much for connecting with us. It was a great pleasure talking to you, and thank you so much for giving us time.
Thank you so much. Wish you all the best. Do well.